that speaker. All right. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Yeah, cool.
All right, here we go in 3, 2, and 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to the Great Scott Podcast. Today, I am joined by actor Ebin Anthony. How's it going, Ebin?
I'm doing great. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing great. First off, I want to say, Missouri guy here.
Oh, great. I went to school in Missouri.
Absolutely. I was just reading your bio, and you went for engineering, right?
That's right. I went to University of Missouri, Rolla.
And did you graduate?
Yes, I did. I graduated with a master's degree in systems engineering.
Gotcha, gotcha. And then you moved from that to acting, going
Yes.
from engineering to acting.
Well, when I'm not acting now, I still work as an engineer. But yeah, I work as a project engineer for a processing plant here down in New Orleans.
Oh, gotcha. I was thinking Missouri there. I thought you might be still here in Missouri.
No, I actually graduated from University of Missouri, and then I moved to New Orleans.
Oh, gotcha. So how are things down in New Orleans for you?
Well, it was kind of bad a couple of weeks back, because of the hurricane and stuff like that. But people down south are real strong, and they're fighting back.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've heard. Did it affect you at all?
Fortunately, I did not have any damages, but I have colleagues at work who don't have a house to go back to. So it's kind of messed up, but everybody's happy that they're safe and sound, and they can build stuff back.
Now, your journey. So let me ask you this: did you start out in India doing your dancing? Because you're a dancer first off.
Yes. So uh, from my childhood, I was real active in arts and sports, and I love dancing. It's like whenever I'm happy, I start dancing, right? And then I participated in dance competitions and school plays and stuff like that. And I was also a gifted soccer player, I would say, and I was a school captain and led the team to national competition and stuff like that. I actually won a sports scholarship to my university for my undergrad in engineering back home in India.
So when did you move here to the States?
It's been 6 years now.
So does your family ever still come over here, or do you go visit them? Or?
Yeah, I try to go back home every year for Christmas, visit my family because all my family is still back home. Yes, my parents have been to the US.
So you're headed back to your hometown here in a couple months, then it sounds like.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to it. I get to meet all my family once a year, spend a good time together and then fly back here.
Yeah. How long is the trip from here to India for you?
It depends, but probably at least 21 hours
Ooh.
air time. But you either have a layover in Europe or in the Middle East.
So did you go straight from India to Missouri coming from
Yes.
yeah. So what was it that attracted you to Missouri?
So the school I went to was a really good school for engineering, and the discipline, the systems engineering department was among the top 10 in the US. So that's what's attractive, and then it was cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, that helps. Yeah. So you also did some engineering work out in India as well.
Yes, so I did my undergrad in electrical engineering, and then I was a university soccer player too. And in my senior year, I got injured, so I couldn't play in my senior year, and I missed a couple of selection trials and stuff like that. So I was like, you know what? Uh, I mean, I think I'm nearing the end of my soccer career here, so let me see what I'm good at, and then that's how I moved to the US for my graduate studies.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Are you still active in soccer?
Yeah, I play like uh, recreational soccer here down in New Orleans.
So you had visited Los Angeles and you attended a workshop that really kind of got your acting going.
Yes, actually, so I came to the US and I still do some dance shows for in school and stuff like that. And one of the audience members actually came up to me and was like, "Man, you're really good at it. I think you should, pursue some kind of art form like acting or, dance or whatnot." And you know, acting has always been in my heart, but I just did not get an opportunity to pursue it. So once I got a job, a full-time job, I was kind of financially settled. I was like, you know what, let me actually try to pursue my dream or my passion so that I don't have any regrets in the future. And that's how I end up for an acting workshop in Los Angeles at New York Film Academy. And then at the end of the workshop, man, I was convinced that, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
And how long before you got your first acting gig after going to that workshop, rather?
Well, I would say 2.5 years. Well, so I was still new to the whole business, right?
Yeah.
Though I was a voiceover artist back home in India, I was fortunate to give voices for over 100 cartoons and movies. The industry back home in India is totally different from how Hollywood works, right? So I was still trying to figure out stuff, and then I come from a soccer background, so I had this mentality where you just don't train right before the game. You consistently train. So I came back to Louisiana and I found a local acting coach, and I started training with him. And I'd say my first short film was after 55 auditions.
Wow, that's
Uh,
determination.
yeah, I mean, as my acting coach always says, this is not a sprint race. This is a marathon. So,
Yeah, right.
you got to keep fighting it.
And one of the teachers you had, and we'll get to your voiceovers here in just a moment. But one of the acting coaches that you had was James Dumont
That's
from
right.
his family is the Dumont Network people.
Mm-hmm. James. I mean, again, I met by accident. One of my friends in class was like, "Hey, have you heard about James Dumont?" This was right before COVID, and he used to travel a lot, and you could hardly meet him once a month maybe. So whenever he was down here in New Orleans, he used to have an acting class, and that's how I probably after 2-3 months after I tracked him down, I finally got hold of him, and then I went to his acting class, and he's phenomenal. I would probably say he's my mentor and my well wisher. So I mean, I'm really grateful for whatever he's been doing for me and what he has done for me in the past.
That's a big guy to have in your corner.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. Now, going to your voiceover that you had done in India. Now, is there something called Bollywood there in India?
Right. So similar to
Yeah,
Hollywood, they have Bollywood, Collywood. I mean, so I don't know how familiar you're with Indian geography and its culture, but pretty much every
a
state
little
has
bit.
their own language. When I say own language, like, in Missouri, you speak one language, and then you go to Arkansas, they speak a whole different language you have no
Yeah.
clue about. So I was born in one state which spoke one language, and I was raised in another state which spoke a whole different language. Uh, and then I was a voiceover artist for a language called Malayalam.
Can you give us a little bit of that voice? I mean, the dialect or
So it's different, right? So this was for the movie G-Force, and I was the Blade, right? Come on, baby, that's how I used to do it.
I
Yeah, well,
hope
it
that
was fun.
I hope, yeah, I hope that you get to use that voice again somewhere down the road here in the United States.
Yeah, I hope so. I forget the name now, but I have given different voices. Yes, and it was fun.
Now, was all of it kind of like primarily used in that dialect?
No, no, yeah, pretty much all my voiceover gigs were in that dialect. Um, but again, it was for cartoons, and then it was for movies, and then you have all these Hollywood movies being dubbed into a whole my dialect, and they put it in theaters and stuff like that. So I gave voices for that.
Now, was there a big culture shock when you came here to the United States?
To be,
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, when I first came to the US, I would say no, because I had a lot of
Well,
friends.
let me re-ask that. I mean, from Bollywood to Hollywood, rather.
Uh, yes, because people are more physical back home. The way they speak is different. I mean, when I first came down here, I had to like slow down a little bit. Actually, pay attention to how people are talking and how they crack jokes. It's more of like sarcasm. It's not like back home. It was more of like physical comedy, and the rhythm is different. So it took me a while to get used to the Hollywood way, I would say.
Yeah, and I wanted to go back to that question that I had asked you. Was it a culture shock for you coming from India to the United States? I know that you had started, but I kind of
Yeah, when I
interrupted you.
started school, no, I would say no when I started school, because the professors and all my friends were real supportive, and I never missed home, to be honest. But once I started living up, because I had like 5, 6 roommates when I was in school, and
Mm,
we were always playing FIFA. I mean, somebody was awake all night. It was fun. It
yeah.
wasn't like I'm actually doing like graduate studies here in the US. But once I kind of moved out from there and I came down, I was all by myself in New Orleans, and it kind of seemed different. And then I slowly got used to it. That's the best part of being a human, right? You get adapted to the new
Yeah,
environment.
absolutely. So now let me reverse the roles here. If a Hollywood actor was to go into Bollywood, would they kind of get a sense of like a culture shock for them per se? Or I know everyone's different, but I mean, if they were to go do Bollywood, would they like just know, okay, this is like a normal thing, kind of like Hollywood for them?
Uh, it might be different because I mean, for the actor, it might be a little difficult, but I'm pretty sure, I mean, being an actor, you got to wear the cap regardless, right? Any cap, you got to wear any cap regardless. So I think it'd be a little bit of a learning curve there, but I mean, we got good actors here.
And yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So there's also something called along to go with Hollywood, Dollywood, that just to throw that in the mix there, just saying. So we have something more than just Hollywood here. So just saying.
Okay.
Anyways, so you are a pretty athletic person, like you were saying. You had played soccer, and there's a few other sports that you had participated in as well. You're just an all around physical person.
Yeah, I mean, like from my childhood, I was always active and I was always physical. So, when I first came to New Orleans, I did not have anything to do physically. I couldn't find a local league or whatnot. And then so I started training mixed martial arts, and I was like, all right, fine. You know what? This actually helped me for my acting career.
Hmm.
Uh, so I started learning Brazilian jiu-jitsu and kickboxing.
And how did
And
that go for you?
I would say it was real difficult the first few classes.
Yeah, absolutely.
My kicks were good. For kickboxing, my kicks were powerful. They were strong, but Brazilian jiu-jitsu was a whole another different ball game. It was hard, and I was actually training with real professional fighters, so
Yeah,
it made it harder. But I mean, after 6, 7 months, I think I got a good hold of it.
yeah,
But the main problem is you get injured a lot during training, and then you've been
absolutely.
sidetracked a little bit. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm getting injured doesn't really help me for my acting
No,
career. So, and
no.
I mean, I was getting into a point where I was actually good at fighting too. So they wanted me to actually go fight, and I was like, probably not. So I was like, you know what? I'll just train once in a while, just to keep to just not forget all the techniques and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't fight anymore. No.
Were you pretty competitive in that, or was it just mainly for like a learning
It was
experience?
I started out to learn the techniques, but it ended up being more competitive, and then I kind of stopped because stage compact is a whole another different world. So you don't
Yeah.
really get hit. So I was like, why do I get hit every night, and then come back, come back and crying with all my body being sore and stuff like that. So yeah, I just kind of reduced the amount of time I train, and I don't spar anymore.
Gotcha, gotcha. So now you're let's talk about your newest project or most current one. You are in something on Amazon Prime called Spoken.
That's right. So, Spoken is a horror thriller feature film that's streaming now on Amazon Prime. It's directed and written by fabulous Tenno Ransom. It's a story that revolves around five students at a summer camp who try to investigate and solve some mysterious crab attacks at the campus. And I play one of the five students. His name is Tyler. He's a musician, and he's deeply in love with the protagonist, Lena.
And there's also one other thing that you're doing called Butterflies.
That's right, Butterflies. The project is almost complete. They have submitted for the Sundance Film Festival. I hope it gets accepted, because it would be a huge exposure for all the actors, the director and the writer and the producer. But it's all complete. I just got done with the ADRs for the movie. It came out real good. It's a teen drama, and I really I believe that you guys would definitely love that film.
So are both of them out right now? Well, I guess Butterflies is not, but is the other one out right now?
Yes, Spoken is now available on Amazon Prime. Yes.
And so is there anything else that you might be working on? Any projects in the works? I know you said Butterflies, but anything else?
Actually, as a matter of fact, I've been talking to a few directors back home in India. So, fingers crossed, I can talk about anything right now because of the
Oh,
NDA stuff.
yeah.
But hopefully soon, you'll hear some good news.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you come back and tell us and report this good news.
Oh, definitely.
Help you to promote what the next project is for you. So
Right.
So Ebin, thank you so much for coming on the podcast from one Missourian to another.
Well, it was a pleasure talking to you, Michael.
Well, thank you so much, Ebin. Much continued success to you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.